If you'd like to support a TSB television broadcast, we've got a patron page for that. Sponsorships start at just $1. Visit patron.com/TSB television and make a pledge for premier Twin Cities sports coverage.
From Robbinsdale Cooper High School in New Hope, we present high school girls basketball. Today, an interclass top 10 clash featuring the #1 team in Class 3A, the Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks, having one of their best seasons in school history against the Minneapolis South Tigers. Robbinsdale Cooper at 20-2, Minneapolis South at 19-2. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Peden alongside Mr. Mayak, Alex Nagel. Alex, it's been a while since we last spoke, but for Robbinsdale Cooper, it's a continuation of their strong season from a year ago, and downsizing to Class 3A has turned them from a wild card in Section 6 and 4A to a top-tier contender in Section 6 3A.
It really has, Mike, and I think this is the year that head coach Ciara Buford really thinks that they can make the move and get to the promised land. We'll see. They seem to be on track right now.
And they do it with speed and balance. Nobody has scored more than 23 points per game, but you have a lot of weapons in that starting five, including Jada Buford, Ciara's younger sister, T.T. Longs, Asia Wheeler, Robbinsdale Cooper. They've got a lot of ways they can beat you.
They really do. And, you know, just watching them come out for the warm-ups here tonight, Mike, you can see this is not a team that's blessed with a lot of great size, but they do definitely have a lot of speed and a lot of athleticism. So we'll see how well that works for them tonight.
For Minneapolis South, if you followed our coverage, you know their team runs through the Hill sisters, Morgan and Jade. Jade has really stepped it up, a couple of 30-point games back-to-back in recent competition, and that's helped when Morgan Hill has struggled, but the Tigers in good position to host a first-round sectional game. Of course, they're going to have to get through Wayzata and Hopkins most likely, but the Hill sisters are making this South team fun to watch.
Well, and you know, you mentioned an important fact, Mike, being in Section 6 in Class 4A, that's an awfully tough row to hoe. But this might be the kind of contest tonight against a very good Cooper team that Minneapolis South may need to get some momentum and get some confidence when they go into section play.
And the Tigers will face Wayzata next week, so a pair of big tests coming up before section play begins. We'll have the starting lineups in a moment. You're watching high school girls basketball. And with the introductory gestures completed, let's take a look at the starting five. For the visiting Minneapolis South Tigers, it's Jade Hill, number 4, the freshman guard. Solana Cushing, number 5, the junior guard. Cameron Benjamin, number 11, the freshman guard. Maisie Johnson, number 20, the sophomore forward. And Morgan Hill, number 24, the senior guard. Robbinsdale Cooper will start. Asia Wheeler, number 2, the junior guard. T.T. Longs, number 4, the senior guard. Jada Buford, number 20, the senior guard. Ciara Wheeler, number 21, the freshman forward. Andrea Tribble, number 31, the freshman guard. Alex, it's interesting to think about with recent injuries to De La Salle and Holy Angels, if that will open the door for Robbinsdale Cooper, but the fact that the Hawks have been able to do this with the lineup they have, they don't have much in height, but they make up for it with speed.
In a very funny way, Mike, they remind me a lot of Park Center. You know, they didn't rely on their size simply because they didn't have any, but they made up for that with a lot of speed and a lot of athleticism and ability to get into transition to get easy points.
Folks, if you set the over-under for the first Park Center reference to the starting lineups, you've just won the prop bet. Alex, of course, follows the Northwest Suburban Conference. My first trek out here, but Robbinsdale Cooper, the last couple of years, and what Ciara Buford has been able to do with this team since she took over has been incredible.
You know, Mike, to have the opportunity to cover this game, you know, being so welded to the Northwest Suburban Conference as I am, it's really a great opportunity to see new teams play that I have not seen play in a while. So I'm going to really enjoy this opportunity tonight.
Ciara Buford took over once there was an opening at the position, and she was referred by a few members of the Robbinsdale Cooper staff. She accepted the job, and here she is in her 4th season. Had a 22-4 regular season record last year, and that's what got a lot of people paying attention to this Cooper program. Ciara Buford, no stranger to success, of course. She won 2 state tournament titles at St. Paul Central and finished with over 1,500 points as a Golden Gopher.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, she's really made the transition from playing to coaching, and she's great at both, obviously. And you look where Cooper is right now, that, I think, tells the whole story right there.
And she's no stranger to Minneapolis South either. Those 2 state tournament titles from a decade ago came against Minneapolis South. And these 2 met a year ago with Cooper winning 48-45. I spoke with Nate McGuire beforehand, and he said he may try to slow down the pace to keep the speedy Cooper Hawks at bay, but we shall see. It's a big test for the Tigers, who are an underdog in Section 6-4A. The Wayzata staff is here tonight, a few of the players, and Michael Schumacher, the head coach. Cooper with the steal, and they waste no time. Asia
getting
Wheeler
into
scores.
transition,
yes,
right from the get-go. Hawks and man defense here.
And in 3A, you don't necessarily need a lot of height, although it certainly helps. Morgan Hill, short on the drive. Tribble backs off. Cooper dominating the Metro West. They've had to sweat out a couple of games, but that just gives you an indication of how far this team has evolved. A couple of years ago, you and I covered the Cooper-Kennedy game, and it was Kennedy winning in a runaway when they won the Metro West, and now it's Robbinsdale Cooper throttling their conference competition. Jade Hill blocked underneath. Tribble, kick out to Jada Buford, mid-range J, in and out. And that will be a dead ball rebound to the Tigers.
Jada Buford, what a story she is. Of course, she started out at Park Center and looked like she was going to have a promising career there at Park Center, but wound up transferring to Cooper, and I think it's worked out pretty well for her.
Well, hard to resist the temptation of playing for your sister.
Right.
I asked Ciara about that, if there's any surrealism, and she said not really, because there was such a big difference in age. Jada, a senior this year, Ciara graduated from high school 10 years ago, that when it came to traveling ball, as Jada Buford misses the 3, when it came to traveling leagues, youth leagues, etc., Jada had other mentors, including her mother and a few other folks.
Well, there's 3 layup attempts missed by South here in the early going, Mike. They've got to clean that stuff up.
Not what Nate McGuire's looking for. Efficiency down low, especially for this team. A critical one. Entry pass deflected. It will stay with the Hawks. And Ciara Buford added a notable name to her coaching staff this year, Daniel Makepeace, who does a lot of work in the sport. I spoke with him beforehand, and the two of us joked about our celebrity status. Daniel has a lot of followers on Twitter, and
including me.
I've had a few folks come up to me and say, "You're the guy from YouTube." 2-0. Rocky start for the Tigers, and that's a traveling violation on Tribble. And no, I don't know any Tribble jokes. Of course, when I hear Tribble, I think of the fictional alien species from Star Trek.
Well, after that initial score and that first transition opportunity, the Hawks have struggled here on the offensive end.
It's early, though, and there's Arian Kelly. She's coming off a broken foot. Morgan Hill for 3, and Kira Wheeler got a piece of it. Kira Wheeler, can she finish the transition play? No, and I didn't like that form there.
Tried to scoop it in.
Bullseye. Morgan Hill. Morgan, a 43% shooter from three-point range. Jada Buford hesitates. Tribble will fire the 3, and that's no good. Maisie Johnson with the board.
Good strong defensive rebound there by Johnson.
Slow start to this one, but these two teams pretty even.
I like the patience shown by South here.
Jada Buford almost got the steal. Nice ball movement. Morgan Hill with the finish.
I'll tell you what, that was great recognition by Arian Kelly, the 5'11" reserve senior.
Jada Buford fakes the 3. Wheeler, fadeaway, doesn't get the bounce. Arian Kelly got a piece of it. Here's Jade Hill. She can drive on either side. Nice move and pushing. Ciara Buford calls timeout. Jade Hill, she can score and she can facilitate for this Tigers team, and Minneapolis South with a 7-2 lead early.
And Ciara Buford giving her squad an earful here at the moment, Mike.
And just like Matamidi Tartan a month ago, we've got the pep band here, so you and I are going to have a hard time hearing each other, at least for the first half, but Minneapolis South showing their great ball movement, and it's getting them off to a good start.
Well, I think just as important as I pointed out here a moment ago, they're showing a lot of patience on offense. They're not taking bad shots. And I think in the early portion of the game, when you want to try and set the tone, I think that's very important.
Morgan Hill, obsessed with Kobe Bryant. In the breakdown book that's published every season, she said she is obsessed with Kobe Bryant like everything about him. A huge fan. That's why she switched to number 24. And following the timeout, TT Long scores for the Hawks. I once suggested last year that Morgan Hill should be nicknamed the Orange Mamba.
Yeah.
Because Black Mamba was taken by Kobe. You have White Mamba, Diana Taurasi. So, because Morgan's a big Kobe fan, I suggested calling her the Orange Mamba. And Arian Kelly, a close friend of hers, said she will throw it out there to make Morgan mad. Morgan not one for attention. But as I noted in my last South broadcast, as Tribble can't bounce in the 3, Wheeler with the O-board and the putback. The Hill family as a whole, very mellow group. Taylor, not much of a showboat. Morgan and Jade, none of them are interested in the theatrics or the hoopla. They just like to play the game. Jump ball. Cooper with the arrow.
Jump ball, taking possession for Cooper, blue ball.
So 3A, where Robbinsdale Cooper is now. The Hawks are number 1. With the injuries to De La Salle and Holy Angels, as we noted, it might open the door for them, but Matamidi, we've seen them.
Oh, boy.
And with Emma Grotehouse, they've got height that Cooper doesn't. And don't discount the likes of Hutchinson. There's Asia Wheeler. Jada Buford for 3, off the heel. Jade Hill with the board. She's off to the races. Bumps into Jada and scores.
Jade Hill scoring.
Jada. I've known the younger Buford since she was 8 years old. Morgan Hill with the block. Finds Cameron Benjamin. Almost traveled there, but put on the brakes in time. Cushing over to Kelly at the high post. Kelly looking for an option. Step back. No bounce. She can hit mid-range Jays, though. We've seen that several times. Tribble to Buford. Now Wheeler. Long skip. Tribble. Sees a lane. Oh! That's tough. Jade Hill, and one.
Oh, goodness. What a move by Jade Hill.
Jade Hill thrives on the drives. I mean thrives on drives. Johnson will sub back in. And she completes a three-point play. Jade Hill, 58% free throw shooter. Hopefully that will develop over time. It's a bit ironic that she's a great three-point shooter, but struggles from the charity stripe. And the Tigers with a 12-6 lead.
Cooper trying to stretch that 2-3 zone of South.
Jada Buford looking to get that three-pointer going, unable to do so, but Wheeler gets a second chance bucket.
And South's going to have to do a better job of boxing her out, Mike.
Now Cooper, one of their imperatives this season was kicking out and knocking down threes. It helps when they're going in. Jada hasn't found her stroke yet, but when Daniel Makepeace joined the team, he spoke with Ciara Buford. The two met while Ciara was playing overseas in Poland for a year. And Maisie Johnson blew the layup.
That was a great pass by Jade Hill.
But Makepeace and Ciara Buford noted, as Asia Wheeler has a chance at three, that teams would play zone against them to try to nullify their advantage down low. And so at practice, they spent a lot of time emphasizing long distance shooting, the kick out option. Asia Wheeler missing the three-point play opportunity, but that gets Cooper back within two. Now for South, this is one reason why they're an underdog. They've got a pretty solid starting lineup, but not a lot of depth behind them. TT Longs with the steal, the younger sister of UU. And Jade Hill gets the deflection. It will stay with the Hawks. 9:40 left in the first half, 12-7 our score. Cooper often plays a 4-out, 1-in type of defense. Which they do to compensate for their lack of height. Bullseye, Asia Wheeler.
Well, if there's one way to break a 2-3 zone, it's with three-point shooting, Mike.
And that's why Daniel Makepeace and Ciara Buford have spent so much time practicing on the kickouts. Jade Hill drives and scores. Jade Hill, last month I covered South in the win over Stillwater, and it seemed like Jade Hill was able to get right side layups about 7,832 times. Jada Buford still can't get on the board, and Wheeler can't get the putback. She'll get a second try. Ciara Wheeler, do you think she did that on purpose to pad her rebounding numbers?
Well, I tell you what, regardless of whether she did or not, she's awfully tough to box out.
I don't think she intended that, but that is good. Those second chance points, so critical, and now the Hawks have a 1-point lead. Arian Kelly can't hit the turnaround J. Drea Tribble with the board. Hawks have numbers. Kickball, it will stay with Robbinsdale Cooper. Minneapolis South hovering in the top 10 in Class 4A. Robbinsdale Cooper, the #1 team in 3A. Their only 2 losses to 4A schools, Hopkins and Centennial. They have beaten everybody else.
Both who figured to be quite prominent in their respective sections.
Well, Hopkins may have a foe in Wayzata. They play each other tomorrow. That's going to be a big game.
Oh boy.
Wayzata won the first meeting. Cooper tried to thread the needle down low. It didn't pay off. And South in transition. Cushing, she's a sharpshooter. Can't make the 3. Morgan Hill with the rebound and the putback. Morgan Hill has 1 triple-double to her credit this season. She picked that up in a runaway win over Patrick Henry. Wheeler, swish.
Good job again by Cooper stretching out that 2-3 zone.
Asia Wheeler with her second triple. And her 3-point stroke is getting Cooper in front. But Solana Cushing says right back at you. Solana knocked down 5 threes in Minneapolis South's win over Stillwater. Came up with 17 that game. Season high is 18. Massaquoi has to get it out. Asia Wheeler through traffic. No good. But the rebound goes into the hands of TT Longs. And TT with another second chance bucket. Robbinsdale Cooper thriving on second chance points right now. And I see Elena Jones is on hand. Morgan Hill for 3. Off the heel. Rebound is tipped to the hands of Drea Tribble. Massaquoi, that's Arthel Massaquoi, had to clutch, but she scores anyway. Arthel Massaquoi averaging 4.8. As we noted in the open, nobody on Cooper's roster has scored more than 23 points in a game.
And another steal.
Asia Wheeler with the poke. Drea Tribble one-on-one with Cushing, you bet. Drea Tribble's on the board, and that ball
got into the back area there in the stands.
Yeah, that ate up a few seconds of clock. As we said, it could be a battle of tempo. If Cooper's able to get the fast break game going, South could have a tough time compensating. Morgan Hill, the kick out. Johnson will attack and score.
Good job by Macy Johnson getting into traffic and getting a big score for South.
24-21, Cooper up by 3. Tribble, top of the key. Finds TT Longs for 3, off the heel. That's what you call a recovery.
Another one of those ubiquitous second chance points, as you pointed out, Mike.
Well, it came off the steal,
right,
but you'll take it. So TT Longs gets the steal in the score. She's up to 6.
Ooh.
Morgan Hill inside the lane, inside the line, I should say, and no good. Cooper looking to run again. TT Longs, no. Arthel Massaquoi, the trailer.
And Nathan McGuire wants to talk about it.
The Hawks, they trailed by as much as 6. They now lead by 7 with 4:49 left in the first half. And as Daniel Makepeace told me, Robbinsdale Cooper, they've got 6 or 7 players who can step up at any moment.
And I think that's important for a team that has such high aspirations as Cooper does, and especially when you progress further and further into section play in your quest for the state title. The more you can spread that scoring around, the greater your chances are, I think, Mike.
So TT Longs, who picked up a couple of defensive plays, is a big fan of hot Cheetos.
Yes.
I wonder if she also eats Takis.
I like the Cheetos, just not the hot flame ones.
She thrives on defense. Asia Wheeler likes ranch sunflower seeds. And Ciara Wheeler, the younger sister, likes laundry detergent. I hope she doesn't eat it.
Yeah, really.
The other two are pretty tasty snacks. If you try to eat laundry detergent, you might be going to the hospital.
Wheeler almost with another steal there for the Hawks.
I hope Asia isn't taking part in that Tide Pod challenge.
Ooh.
South brings the pressure. Morgan Hill will shoot 2. Morgan, she's dropped off a bit at the line, but she's still an 84% free throw shooter. And part of that was her 10 of 15 output against Minneapolis North. But Morgan Hill, with that quick first step, usually gets a few trips to the free throw line. Morgan still weighing her options as far as college goes. Not unlike her big sister Taylor. She waited until the season was over before committing to Ohio State. I spoke with Monique, Morgan's mother, and she said when Morgan makes her announcement, it probably won't come with the fanfare that Taylor did, where her friends spelled Ohio State backwards. I've never heard of, well, Massaquoi. She's showing her strength down low. Well, Massaquoi doing some cleanup work. And the Hawks extend their largest lead of the game. It's now 8. Ooh, Jade Hill will shoot 2. I was going to say I've never heard of a more legendary figure from Etats Oiho than Taylor Hill. That's Ohio State backwards.
Well, great move by Jade Hill with that quick first step.
She averages 16.4 a game, 58% free throw shooter. As we noted, really has stepped it up, back-to-back 30-point games.
Jada Buford back in for Cooper now.
And her increase in scoring, Nathan McGuire credits to Jay taking more of an initiative. First couple of years when she was in 7th and 8th grade, she would often defer to her bigger sister Morgan, and Nathan said, hey, you can score too, take it. And she's done just that. And when Morgan Hill has struggled, Jade's been able to pick up the slack. TT Longs missing the 3. Ciara Wheeler.
Another one of those second chance points.
Ciara Wheeler, by far not the tallest post player, but she's not playing like it. Morgan Hill drives and will shoot another pair.
Nice shot by Morgan Hill. I think it's South important. Very important for South to stay aggressive here, Mike. Keep attacking the basket.
Foul is on Jada Buford, her second personal. Morgan Hill, the second leading scorer in Minneapolis City Conference history. You probably know who the first one is. She crossed the 2,000-point milestone recently. I should say earlier this season at Burnsville. Jade Hill, 44 away from 1,000. She would need an awfully big game to get to 1,000 tonight.
Yeah.
Considering that she hasn't put up 40 in a game this year. But she'll get there before the season is out. And who knows, maybe she'll end up in the 2,000-point club or higher over the next few years. Jada Buford for 3. Bullseye.
It's only going to be a matter of time before she drained one. And again, Cooper doing a very good job of stretching out that 2-3 zone of South.
Jada averaging 7.8 a game. Jade Hill can't fake it off the window. Buford again. Not that time. Jade Hill, she's got a lane. Dribble one-on-one.
Got it. Gutsy move by Jade Hill there.
Well, as I noted earlier, she loves to drive on the right side, so even with the defender in her face, that's her comfort area. Dribble. Can't bank the 3. Kelly with the board. 2:05 to go. Kelly inside to Johnson. Ooh, almost had it. And Arthel Massaquoi laughs it off. She knew that was a traveling call, lost her footing for a moment. But sometimes that happens in basketball, and it's good to see the junior laugh it off like that. You know mistakes will happen, just keep going. Long way to go. Morgan over to Kelly, baseline J. Kelly unable to find that mid-range stroke of hers, but again, she's been working her way back, slowly but surely. Still wears a boot on her foot as a protective measure. Johnson tips the pass, Cushing with the steal. And it looked like she was indecisive about what she wanted to do. You could tell from up here she wasn't quite sure. Yeah. You could tell she wasn't quite sure, and it cost her. Meanwhile, I've got some young basketball fans mesmerized by my narration of this game. I have no idea. I think I'm the most talentless person out there. 3 on the way. Rattling it in is Ciara Lynch. She goes by Cece, and Robbinsdale Cooper, like we mentioned, spacing out on the 3. Yep. It's paying dividends. Jade Hill can't get the layup. Morgan Hill can't clean it up. Gets another rebound.
Goodness.
Didn't have a great angle there. Cooper off to the races. CC Lynch missed the layup. And Maisie Johnson rips the rebound away from Buford, so 2 point-blank chances come up empty. Morgan Hill for 3. That's no good, and Cooper will let that go out of bounds for a dead ball rebound. Gives everyone a chance to catch their breath.
Well, definitely not the spot that Minneapolis South wanted to be in double digits here as we wind down this first half. Let's see if they can get a stop here.
And it has to do with Cooper's balance. All 7 players have scored, and they're knocking down the 3 ball, which is helping. South wanted to travel, didn't get it. Ciara Wheeler missed the layup. South with a chance. Jade Hill.
Strong move by Jade Hill, getting the contact, getting the line with a chance to get this one back into single-digit range.
Like you said, willing to make those gutsy moves on drives. As we noted, Jade Hill, the facilitator of this team, averages 5.1 assists a game. And with a younger Hill sister coming next year, most likely, an Angel Hill, I have to imagine Jade will have a few more chances to put up some dimes. Basketball runs heavily in their family. Of course, Paul Hill, PJ went to North, played college at Ohio State. Monique, the mother of the clan, a well-known track athlete. And Taylor, I heard she's over at Washington these days. Final possession for the Hawks, 5 seconds left. Asia Wheeler finds Lynch, and that's short. But the Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks do have a 38-29 lead at halftime thanks to their balance and 3-point proficiency.
Well, exactly. That's worked out for them so far. I do wonder sometimes, Mike, though, if Cooper can keep relying on the 3-point shooting as they have tonight over a long stretch, because if they don't fall, what do they have to fall back on?
If you'd like to support a TSB television broadcast, we've got a Patreon page for that. Sponsorships start at just $1. Visit patreon.com/TSB television and make a pledge for premier Twin Cities sports coverage.
Mike Peden and Mr. Mayak, Alex Nagel with you. Robbinsdale Cooper leads Minneapolis South 38-29. Looking at the first half numbers, Asia Wheeler has 10 to lead the Hawks. Her sister Ciara has 8, scoring on a lot of putbacks. TT Longs and Arthel Massaquoi have 6. Minneapolis South, the Hill sisters have 22 points combined. The rest of the team just 7. I have imagined, Alex, if South wants to work their way back, they're going to try to look to get folks like Solana Cushing more involved offensively.
Yeah, I think so, Mike. You know, at some point, you've got to get your other players involved, because they can key on those on both the hills, and that would just lead to South's downfall in this contest, I would think.
Cooper has won 13 in a row. They have not lost since playing Centennial at the Roseville Holiday Tournament. Most of that coming against Metro West competition, and then they ran over St. Paul Central, Ciara's alma mater, 79-42, but St. Paul Central not quite the team they used to be. And we noted...
Still a close game here, Mike.
Right.
9 points, and a lot can happen.
Well, we noted Cooper being a contender. In their section, they are far and away the #1 seed. They took care of Benilde St. Margaret's a couple of days ago at this facility, but you look at the QRF, Cooper 271, Benilde St. Margaret's 170. That just shows you the strength of this Cooper team. Cushing.
One thing I do like about watching Minneapolis South, they are very patient with their half-court offense. Ooh, there was almost a steal there.
And they're only down by 9, so you don't need to
pass.
panic. But Cooper doing a good job staying on top of them, not letting them penetrate inside. Maisie Johnson, tough angle. Morgan Hill is there for the cleanup.
Well, that was a good possession there for Minneapolis South. So let's see what the Tigers now can do with their 2-3 zone. And there you go.
They get the block on Kiera Wheeler. Cameron Benjamin looking to go transition. Can't quite do it. And Jade Hill collided with Asia Wheeler. Jada Buford picks it up. She lost control. And Cooper is able to save it because they got fouled.
A lot happened there in the last 10 seconds.
It's basketball. There's always a lot going on. Jada Buford for 3. That's short. And South will let that bounce out of bounds.
And again, that's what I was referring to right before the halftime break. Sometimes, to me, it seems like Cooper relies a little too heavily on the three-point shooting.
Well, they're up by 7. And as we noted earlier, that driving kick, that was by design this year to nullify the zone defenses thrown at them, and they were to build up a pretty solid lead as a result, and their aggressiveness on defense forcing steals. So, maybe Cooper does shoot the 3 a lot, but they have a few other intangibles to their credit. Jada Buford off balance and in.
A little off balance on that one, but she got it to go down.
And we mentioned the lineage the Hill family has. Jada Buford, part of an athletic lineage. Of course, Ciara, her sister. Her mother is Tracy Buford, who went to a couple of state tournaments for Highland Park back in the late 80s. I'll never forget that, as Asia Wheeler can't score. Tracy had the full mullet. It was the 80s. And there was one play as Jade Hill drives and scores. Tracy was going in transition. She got tripped from behind and slid across the slippery Met Center floor.
Jade Hill's basket on the other end cut the deficit to 7 for the Tigers.
Ciara Wheeler can't get the turnaround. So, South may be going with a big dose of Hill and Hill to work their way out of this jam. They trail by 7, still a long way to go. Tigers have won 6 in a row. They lost to Bloomington Kennedy a few weeks ago at the Super 60 showcase. And Morgan Hill is fouled, and she has taken a lot of contact down there.
Well, I tell you, that was some contact just there in the last few seconds. She might be feeling the after effects of that too. I think she's okay. She might be coming off for a spell. Get a breather.
Cameron Benjamin will go in. I think Morgan Hill just needs a moment to collect herself. Arian Kelly.
Nice job by Kelly.
That's her first basket. If she can get that mid-range stroke going, that could open up possibilities for the Tigers.
And all of a sudden, it's a 5-point game here, Mike.
Asia Wheeler missed the three. And Maisie Johnson couldn't catch up to it, so a second chance opportunity for the Hawks. And Morgan Hill looks okay. Jada Buford weaves through and can't get the layup. That's all right. Ciara Wheeler with another putback.
Nice drive along the left baseline there by Jada Buford.
Johnson to Kelly. Left alone. Gets her own rebound, fires it back up. No good. Maisie Johnson didn't use the backboard. Had a good angle, just needed to use the glass as the Tigers wait for Morgan Hill to come back.
Wow.
Ciara Wheeler will have a chance at three.
Strong move in the paint there by Ciara Wheeler.
Ciara averaging 14.3. Left that one just a little short.
A little bit, but the important thing with that basket is that the Hawks stretch out their breather room here just a little bit, back up to 9.
Morgan Hill checks back in. The one thing Cooper has struggled with so far is free throws. They're 0 for 2. Both coming on three-point plays, we should point out. They're doing all the other things right. 3-ball. Pushing in from the corner. Arian Kelly
good job by
rips the
Kelly.
Rebound away. Oh, Morgan Hill wasn't ready. I think she thought Arian Kelly would pull up. An unfortunate miscue for the Tigers. Robbinsdale Cooper looking to stay #1 in Class 3A, and if they can get through South, they'd have a good chance of doing that. Their last 3 games are against Chanhassen, Richfield, and Kennedy. They took care of Chanhassen last Wednesday, 86-77. Richfield still rebuilding, and Kennedy, they don't have a lot of...
Coast to coast by Jade Hill.
Like we said, when Jade Hill decides to turn it up a notch on offense, she can put up some points. She's up to 16. Tribble, fakes the 3. Here is T.T. Longs, who leads the way in. T.T. Longs up to 8. Cushion to Kelly. Out to Jade Hill. Minneapolis South, they're going to win the Minneapolis City Conference title again. That's a 3rd foul on Jada Buford. So they'll play in the Twin Cities game a week from Saturday against Como Park, most likely. And a rematch of a year ago, Como Park winning that one. Cougars are a little down this year. Buford will go out. Massaquoi will come in. And that game will be at Minneapolis or St. Paul, with St. Paul hosting the Twin Cities games this year. Although not quite the same level of intrigue. In fact, there's been a lot of conversation as Jade Hill launches the 3 about the adversity inflicting Minneapolis and St. Paul athletics. Arthur Massaquoi completes the transition.
Well, they had a 4-on-1 there in that transition opportunity, and they made the most of it.
Hawks extend their lead to 11, their largest. But Minneapolis recently lost their conference athletic director. Trent Tucker announced his resignation a week ago. Kelly. Tough angle. Massaquoi with the board. Southwest AD on paid leave. Minneapolis North lost their AD last month. That situation is yet to be resolved. And St. Paul, you are dealing with a lot of Asia Wheeler blocks. Scramble for the ball. Won by Jade Hill. Let's see what she does here. The kick out to Cushing. That's for 2. It goes in. Smart play by Jade Hill. And Cushing up to 7. Like we said, getting some of the other players involved could be beneficial for the Tigers.
Let's see if the Tigers can close the gap again here. Nathan McGuire content to stay in that 2-3 zone defense.
Massaquoi got bumped by Kelly. Cooper fans wanted a foul. TT Longs. Ciara Wheeler had nowhere to go. Morgan Hill with a deflection. Cushing left that pass soft. Morgan Hill couldn't break free. So the Hawks will get a transition look and miss everything. So St. Paul maybe not dealing with the tumultuous level that Minneapolis is, but you've had a talent drain in recent years. St. Paul Central, where Kiara Buford graduated, bastion of talent when Willie Taylor was there. This year, the Minutemen have only 8 players on their varsity roster, and not a lot of camaraderie, as I understand it. Morgan Hill block, gets her own miss. Cameron Benjamin fires off the heel. Como Park, they had that strong year with Andrea Adams, haven't been able to recapture it since then. Lost Elena Jones to a transfer, and there's been some turbulence there. And a lot of longtime basketball fans will tell you how difficult it is to watch Jade Hill again. Watch 2 conferences that were proud with athletics struggle the way they are. Minneapolis South, they've been a solid team over the years. The problem is they're in the section with Wayzata and Hopkins, so they get overshadowed almost every year. And when you're dealing with the uncertainty Minneapolis is, you got to try to push through it. As calling the timeout there, I believe, was Robbinsdale Cooper. 9:05 left. They're up by 7.
Well, Ciara Buford taking the stoppage in play here to try and make some adjustments as South has now closed the gap to 7 points.
And Jade Hill up to 18. Cooper, I presume they don't want to let her get out in transition for this final 9:05. As we noted, Jade Hill closing in at 1,000. Won't get it tonight, most likely. She may be able to get it on Saturday when South plays Roosevelt. South has throttled the conference outside of Minneapolis North. That series has been pretty close. South has won those meetings, but they've always had to grind it out. And for the Hawks, we'll see how long they stay in 3A. As you know, schools reclassify every 2 years. But
of course, we saw Park Center get shoved up to Class 4A.
Well, they made state the last couple of years, so they made the most of it. But when you're in 4A, you got to deal with the perennials. Drea Treble missing the 3-pointer. Hopkins, Eastview, Wayzata making a push this year. That's going to be a charge on Jade Hill. That will be her 3rd foul. And if Cooper does manage to go on to state and win it, I don't think anyone would discount their efforts. But as we said, it's amazing what a reclassification can do.
Yeah.
This was a school that, had they stayed in 4A, this matchup I'm sure would still be intriguing, but maybe not as
with the same
for
ramifications, perhaps.
Right, because last year, even though Robbinsdale Cooper had a strong year, nobody expected them to knock off Hopkins. And so it's amazing how you go from an underdog, as Ciara Wheeler scores down low again, you go from an underdog to the #1 team. That will be a foul on Drea Tribble. That will be her second. Fouls haven't been much of an issue tonight.
No. Unlike that one game that we covered at Montepita.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
Thing I wonder about sometimes, Mike, is when or if there will be some realignment of some of the sections, particularly in Class 4A.
Well, there'll be some new conference realignments in the next couple of years. With the skyline forming. Cushing missing the three-pointer. Massaquoi fouled by Morgan Hill. That's just her first. The free throws coming for Arthel Massaquoi. Not a lot of commitments yet among the Cooper seniors in terms of college choice. As Massaquoi gets the front end. The only official signee right now is Wheeler, or I should say TT Long. She's going to go to Nyack, Northern Iowa Area Community College. That will stay with the Hawks as Morgan Hill couldn't get the rebound. But folks like Jahia Gaston, not quite sure yet. Jada Buford does not plan on continuing her basketball career after this season. Spoke with her mother about that at halftime. Morgan Hill, bullseye. South needed that bucket.
Yes. Well, they've been managing to hang around here, and I think the longer they hang around as this game progresses, the more dangerous they become. And here's another chance.
They seal off Kira Wheeler that time. Jade Hill kicks out. Morgan will try again. Can't hit it. So to finish elaborating on Jada, I spoke with her mother, Tracy, about that. And as TT Long swishes the three, Tracy noted it seems strange because the Buford family is synonymous with basketball, but she said Jada and Ciara, two completely different kids when it comes to their approach to the game. And that's not to say Jada is not a good basketball player. She found a home this year, but sometimes you play the sport and you move on to other things.
Yep.
Angel Gray comes to mind. She went to Florida State, but said once her college career was done, she knew she wanted to move on to something else. So Jada and anyone else is certainly welcome to that in their life.
Oh.
And Andrea Tribble will welcome herself to the lane. And the Hawks up by 12, looking to put this one away and win their 14th straight game. Kelly.
Well, just when it looked like the South was on the verge of getting this one close again, now they're down by double digits, 12 points.
And Kelly unable to get the mid-range J.
And time beginning to become a factor now here as well.
5:39 left. South calls timeout. Well, it goes back to the discrepancy in offense. Minneapolis South, the Hill sisters have combined for 33 of the team's 44 points. Robbinsdale Cooper, 14 from Wheeler, 11 from Longs, and 10 from Asia Wheeler. So the Hawks playing as their stats would indicate. I know they're not thinking about this now, but what would it be like? What would it mean for the Buford family where Ciara got to be at the pinnacle winning 2 state titles? What would it be like to win one as a coach after winning 2 as a player?
That's an interesting question, Mike. As a player, when you win one, I think you probably feel like, oh, there's nothing better. But when you do it as a coach, in some ways, I think there's more satisfaction because the players that you coach, that you've led, you get to bask in that moment. I think there's a lot of satisfaction that comes from that.
Now, if only the Rolling Stones could get some.
That was a new one I didn't think that you would ever come up with.
Well, you haven't been around for a while, but Cooper looking to go back door, and South tangles him up. That's okay. You've got Ciara Wheeler doing the cleanup work. Let's just say when Abe is around, I have a propensity to use a lot of one-liners and musical references. I'll let you, I'll leave the UCLA references to you. I'll handle the other stuff. Morgan Hill for three. No good. Rebound, Asia Wheeler. Less than 5 minutes to go, and the Hawks in prime position.
And the window of opportunity slowly but surely closing for the Tigers.
And it's a matter of depth here. Robbinsdale Cooper just has more of it. Morgan Hill got the deflection, got the steal. Tigers still not out of it, but they're running out of time. AZ Johnson off the glass and in. And Nate McGuire going to call another timeout. He had 3 remaining, and this is the only way South can stop the clock, but they've got a long way to go. They're down by 12.
And a short time to get there. If I may quote a Jerry Reed song.
Who are you quoting?
A Jerry Reed song.
I haven't heard.
A long time ago and a short time to get there.
Never heard of him.
Oh, it's a country song from way back when.
Now, you were noting the Northwest Suburban Section 5 could have a different look this year. Park Center could still win it. Centennial looking pretty good. Roseville, a lot of folks thought they were going to rebuild. I know you'll follow Section 5 with Park Center up there, but
I mean, as good as Centennial has been, the team that's really impressed me in Section 5 is Champlain Park.
How about Champlain Park? Yes.
Erica Hicks, I believe, broke the
school scoring record.
record.
They may not be favorites. Again, whoever wins in Section 6 will probably be the favorite, along with Eastview if they get out of Section 3. Morgan Hill with the steal, but she's going to go all the way. Well, Morgan Hill matching her sister, who had a coast-to-coast play earlier. So Morgan up to 17, but the Tigers still trail by 10. They're going to need a few more stops.
Well, back to 10 points, but they can ill afford to trade baskets now with Cooper. They've got to get a stop.
Can they get one? Jada Buford leaves it short, and Ciara Wheeler has given them fits all night. Wheeler up to 18, and I think almost all of them have come on second chance plays. Ciara Wheeler just way too much for them tonight, and that's been a missing element for South. Solana Cushing can't get the three-point stroke going. Arian Kelly, she's been working her way back, but doesn't have her mid-range stroke. That was working for them when they beat Stillwater. It's not working for them tonight.
Oh, my goodness.
Andrea
Are
Tribble.
you kidding me? Andrea Tribble, the freshman. My goodness.
Razzle-dazzle time, and that might be enough. Arian Kelly gets the friendly bounce.
That was one of the best moves I've seen in a long time.
South calls timeout again, but I just don't know if they have enough time. But that play by Drea Tribble, she's fallen down, harsh angle, used the glass, and came up with the most athletic play of the night.
You mentioned Section 6, and that's going to be a tough one. I think the interesting thing about Section 6 is that I think you can make an argument for either Hopkins or Wayzata.
You're going out on a limb there, aren't you? Well, Hopkins, we know they're always going to be a contender. Wayzata building up a strong program. They gave Hopkins a scare a year ago in sections, and they brought everybody back. They're led by Kelly Tyson. I was there. Both of us were there when Wayzata knocked off Park Center in overtime. They don't blow anybody out, but they grind their way to wins. And in Section 6-3A, Benilde is on their way back, but I just don't know if they have enough of an offense. Laconia to me is the wild card in that group.
Right.
They've only come here, I think, a couple of times in the Metro. They played St. Louis Park and won.
Right.
But the Wildcats, their offense, not quite at Anna Schmidt levels from a couple years ago. But Carl Pearson feels confident that Laconia could get to the section final and maybe give this Cooper team a run. That would be the team I think would be the dark horse in Section 6. No question on who the player of the game is for Cooper tonight. Ciara Wheeler doing it all down low. South not having an answer for her at all.
Benjamin getting a nice shot off the glass there. But it looks like it's going to be a matter of too little, too late for Minneapolis South.
Benjamin scores, and Nate McGuire uses his last time out, but I just don't see how you can make up a 12-point deficit in 2:22.
You talked about it at the onset of the second half, Mike, that you felt that Minneapolis South had to get contributions from the other players other than the Hills, and we just haven't seen enough of that tonight.
No. The Hills, they've scored 35 points, the rest of the team 17. Again, part of that, if Solana Cushing knocks down a couple of threes, maybe it's a different story, or Arian Kelly.
Yeah.
Because Kelly is a sharpshooter with the mid-range baskets, as we've seen over the last couple of years. Robbinsdale Cooper, it would be quite the story if they could find a way to win the state title this year. Whether or not you think a 3A championship means something, well, I guess it does. Look at what it did for Holy Angels and Park Center those 2 years.
Oh, sure.
But this was a program that was struggling a bit before Ciara Buford took over, and since she came in, she brought some old friends with her. Cooper breaks the press, and now they'll back off and play keep away. Brought Daniel Makepeace, a well-known figure in the Minnesota community, and you add that to the coaching staff, and Ciara Buford, she's a smart cookie herself. You've got a lot of wisdom on that Cooper bench.
Yep.
Wisdom, experience, and reputation. Because with Ciara winning 2 state titles at St. Paul Central and playing D1, you're going to respect that. Daniel Makepeace, you're going to respect what he has done for basketball as well.
Yep.
And Daniel Makepeace was telling me you got to guard everybody when you play Robbinsdale Cooper, because any one of them can be a threat to score. South playing foul and chase here. The biggest difference, Ciara Wheeler in this game. You saw what she could do down low, and South just did not have anyone to match her.
Nope.
There's another example. Doesn't get the bounce there, but that sets things up for her sister. She's just everywhere on the boards.
Yep.
And she's only 5'10". And we're going to see plenty more of her talent in the years to come with her being a freshman. Jade Hill banks it in. And even if South isn't able to get to the state tournament this year, what a career it has been for Morgan Hill. That will be a foul on Kelly. What a career it's been for Morgan Hill.
You talk a little about Jada Buford, possibly ending her basketball career after her senior season. Sometimes we see instances where players, they don't play right after high school graduation, but then they realize how much they miss a game. Chelsea Mason, who was a standout at Mountain Iron Buell, now back at Minnesota Duluth playing, realized that she missed it too much.
We'll see what happens, but as I noted earlier, I've known Jada since she was 8 years old, and the Buford family. One of the sweetest groups of folks you'll ever meet. Maisie Johnson converts the three-pointer, but South is running against the clock here. Morgan Hill with the steal. Finds Maisie Johnson again, gets the bounce. So Maisie
they
Johnson
did a nice job getting it back into single digits, but again,
and that's what
just a matter
South
of
needed more of.
Too little, too late.
Exactly. So they gave her a two-pointer, so Johnson has 8. But again, that's what South needed more of in this game. They just didn't get enough of it. Jada Buford at the line. Still sings every once in a while. Had quite the vocal talent, but doesn't like the fact that I've got video of her from her childhood years when she was 8 years old. Jade Hill draws a foul. That stops the clock with 1:01. The Bufords, as I've said, very sweet group of people, and it's going to be sad that there won't be any more Bufords.
Yeah.
At least not for a while. Ciara's got, a son and daughter, London and D-Star. But London is 4, D-Star is 2. It's going to be a while before we see them put on a high school uniform. I did joke with her about that as Jade Hill knocked down the front end. And hey, those are my stats. Go get your own. One of the younger fans taking a look at my research.
Watching intently.
Exactly. Well, maybe we have a broadcaster among the row in front of us here down the road. South putting on the pressure again, trying to extend the game. Now they're going to have to foul. And that will be the second on Kelly. Although if there's anyone you want to send to the line, it's Ciara Wheeler. But I joked with Ciara a few years ago, before the birth of her first child, London, and I said, how long before D1 offers D1 offers start coming? And she said a good 16 years. Making the most of her situation, and there's TT Longs getting a rebound. I guess she didn't want to be left out of the offensive rebound category. And really, that's what the game came down to. The play down low.
Yep.
And South, Morgan and Jay can put up some rebounds. We mentioned Morgan Hill having a triple-double earlier this year, but they just don't have the size of a lot of other teams. Andrea Tribble padding her stats. And it's tough. And as we have seen in the part of Wheeler, size isn't everything. There are ways you can make up for it, but without that big interior threat, Ciara Wheeler's been free to do what she wants in the paint.
It certainly seems like it.
Well, Madamina, it helps when Emma Grothaus is 6'3", but we've seen what she can do.
Yeah, exactly.
She is just a beast.
Well, you talk about Emma Grothaus of Madamina. I mean, I think the other thing that she does so well is that she helps her other teammates get involved in the game.
And while we've praised the career of Morgan Hill, however it ends up finishing, she'll have over 2,000 points. Well, Jade Hill, for her to use the adage, the best is yet to come. 16 points per game this year. We've seen her score and pick up over the last few games. When Morgan graduates, Jade will probably assume most of the leadership responsibilities. I can't wait to see what Jade does over the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And she's already had, and she'll be a seasoned veteran by then. She already has 3 years of varsity ball.
Yep.
And we'll have one more Hill sister in Angel. And Nate McGuire and even the Hill patriarch and matriarch have said they're looking forward to seeing her put on a high school jersey. And there's another offensive rebound for the Hawks. And it looks like they're going to run out the clock. Offensive rebounding to the bitter end, the ticket to victory for Robbinsdale Cooper.
Well, it was a good opportunity to catch this Robbinsdale Cooper team in action. And, they're number one in the state, and they're there for a reason. I mean, you saw it tonight. I mean, they've got some great three-point shooting. They've got a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism, and as we saw tonight, they can get into transition. And when you can rebound the way Ciara Wheeler can, that's a recipe for success right there.
They'll stay number 1 with a 72-62 win over Minneapolis South. Ciara Wheeler the game high with 21 points, 12 from Asia Wheeler and TT Longs. Jade Hill, I should say, had the game high with 24. Morgan Hill with 17, but not a lot of support outside of that. 21 points from the rest of the team. We'll try to get a word with Ciara Wheeler before we wrap things up. This is high school girls basketball. Robbinsdale Cooper extends their winning streak to 14. They go to 21-2. And I'm joined by Ciara Wheeler. Ciara, 21 points and what seemed like 55 offensive rebounds on your end. Tell me, how did your post play down low help Robbinsdale Cooper pull out to a 10-point win?
The shots that they miss, I just pick it up. I pick up whatever they miss is to me, because I got to pick up what they left off.
And it seems that tenacity and hustle is fed into the rest of the team, because at the end, you miss a couple of free throws and your teammates go get the O boards.
Me and my team work together. We're all family. We all close, so we know how each other play. We're all connected, so we're ready for that.
Cooper with back-to-back 20-win seasons. What would you make of their success, and how have you been able to put up so many wins over the last couple of years?
We've been working on it. We started slowly as we were younger, but now we're older. We all know each other. We're all together. We're just working together.
And I know 3A different beast than 4A, but what does it say about your development? You've been the number 1 team in Class 3A for a while, and I know you're not thinking about championships just yet, but to put the season you've been able to have, what does that say about this team's development?
It says that we've grown a lot. We've matured a lot, and we're ready for whatever comes to us.
And in this game, you used your balance to great benefit against the Hill sisters. Was that the plan?
My plan was to, basically piggyback off what they do and retaliate.
And you've got a lot of leadership in your coaching staff this year. Of course, Ciara, she's been with the team for a while. Daniel Makepeace, a well-known figure. How does their wisdom, leadership, and experience help you guys?
They help a lot. Buford helps me, get to that next level because she's been there, and Danny helps me with my skills, mentally and physically.
And what's been the most fun about this season and just what you've been able to do to bring respect and notoriety to Robbinsdale Cooper?
Playing with my team, we're all family and we get along well. And also Lakita Davis, the JV coach, she has helped me a lot as a post player. She went to that level too, and being a post player, she's helped me a lot develop myself. Now,
I researched a little fun fact about the two of you and your sister, I should say. Apparently you enjoy sunflower seeds, and then your sister likes detergent, or is it the other way around? Or
we both like sunflower seeds and detergent, except for I like original and she prefers ranch.
Right. So you're not eating Tide Pods, are you?
Oh, no. Those are...
You don't like it that much?
No, those are dangerous.
I've never come across someone like that. Do you just enjoy clean clothes, or when it comes out of the...
Good. They smell.
So it's the smell. Okay. Well, as long as you're not doing any Tide Pod challenges, because I don't think anyone would want to have you out for a while with what you've been able to do. But congratulations on your win tonight. Well played and a lot of hustle. Before we wrap up, you want to say hi to anybody?
Shout out to my mom, Kanisha, my family. They've been a lot, and they've been supporting me.
All right. Well, congratulations, and perhaps we'll see you hoist the state tournament trophy in a few weeks.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, nice to meet you. That was Ciara Wheeler, and that does it here from New Hope at Robbinsdale Cooper. For our entire crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching.